British Darwin said, "When treating with savages like these, our superiority, they were like wild beasts, as a tiger." He dehumanized them. Dehumanization, fourth stage of genocide, equating people with animals. The British say, "Savages are less intellectually evolved." The Spanish said, "Los indios are equals from Adam and Eve." "We must exterminate the vermin," say the British. The Spanish, "We must save their souls." The British, "We leave no Tasmanians in our wake." The Spanish, "Our legacy, millions of living natives." Guatemala did commit a genocide, but it was not the Spanish Empire. According to the Wikipedia page on it, it was in the 1900s, for crying out loud. The Spanish Empire hadn't been around a long time. Dios amo la raza maya. I used to be anti-Spanish. Shocker. Honduras indoctrinated me when I was in first grade or so to believe Spain was evil, while natives were good, as if all were living in harmony, kumbayaing until the Spanish got there. I used to believe I was mestizo, meaning mixed. But then, in college, my Spanish beard grew, and I saw just how Spanish I actually am. I wasn't native at all. There was no Native American feature in me. My brown skin was just from natural tanning, not by birth. I am white by birth. See me as a baby. Before, and then, after. In Miami, a Cuban asked me where I was from, and I said Honduras. He was surprised and told me that I did not look any bit Indian, because I'm Spanish. I love natives, but I'm Spanish. Also, when I lived in Miami, I met many Hispanics from different countries, from Mexico to Argentina. I met Nahuas, Aztecs, who wore modern clothes and had forgotten their roots. I met pale Argentines. I met tall blonde Cubans. I met a Chinese Cuban. I met Native Americans, Taínos, from Cuba, while others were from Puerto Rico. I was misled to believe that Spaniards had wiped out all of the Taínos. But there are many Taínos today. There was no genocide. They're not white nor black. They're clearly Native American. Do you see the difference between the African woman there and the Americans? So check out these Taínos in videos.
Paraguay. Historia, cultura y tradiciones. Aniversario 505 de la fundación de la Villa de Baracoa.
La presencia taína es evidente en los baracoanos de hoy. Rasgos físicos, palabras imborrables, adoraciones, el poder de los curanderos y una cultura de resistencia que evoca el hermosísimo paisaje del que se enamoraron.
Indio hay que respetarlo bien. Toda una vida los indios hay que respetarlo. Porque ese fue casi como aquel que dice que vino al mundo. Primero que vino al mundo fue el indio.
Para comenzar, siempre mi abuela decía que nosotros veníamos de indígenas. Eso es lo primero. Eso se clavó en mi mente, pero siempre que se buscaba información sobre los taínos nunca aparecía mucha información, sino que decían los indios desaparecieron, los indios murieron, los indios ya no existen. Pero decía, pero es que tiene que quedar algo, porque si todavía queda la raza negra, todavía quedan de los blancos, porque no puede quedar de los indios también. En todas estas cosas pues fue buscando acordarme de los taínos porque de ellos nadie se había acordado.
This map is supposed to show you how many per country are Native American. For example, Alto Peru, which they call Bolivia, has the most here, as well as Guatemala. But these statistics are very inaccurate because most Native Americans don't even know their identity because they are ignorant of their roots, due to globalization, for example. Therefore, the actual percentages of Native Americans in Latin America are much higher than what is reported. Add to this the stigma of natives as having been primitive, losers in wars, or worshippers of devils. I once argued with someone who said that smallpox eliminated Native Americans. He blamed Spaniards. He was ignorant of the fact that smallpox didn't kill the many allies of Hernán Cortés against the Aztec Empire. So smallpox is overrated. The native allies needed no vaccination. Most deaths in Tenochtitlan were from starvation due to the siege, not smallpox. In Miami suburbia, I met a European Venezuelan, but also a native Venezuelan. I met a Spanish Colombian, but also a native Colombian, and saw their families. I also met Nicaraguans who were in most cases Native American, while one was Spanish. I have been to Nicaragua and saw the brown people with my own eyes. Only the ignorant and gullible believe the claims of genocide. In Miami, I would eat at Fritanga, which has great food prepared mostly by Native American women. In Miami, I would also eat top-notch Salvadoran food with typically native cooks, el atlacat. They even use a Native American guy as their logo. Spain had more time to genocide natives if genocide they did, which they didn't. Yet it is lands of the British which are lacking in natives. If there were few natives in what is now the USA, as an anti-Spaniard claimed, then the Trail of Tears wouldn't have happened, because there would have been enough land for all to share. But there were too many Native Americans to the British, so they had to drive them out or murder them. The British in North America expelled or murdered them, as here. The Bible says, "Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnants of the people shall spoil thee. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity." In some cases the Spanish did this, but I think in some cases the Spanish were justified, like against the Aztecs. Because are you going to condemn the people who killed Nazis to save Europe? If you don't condemn killing Nazis, you cannot condemn killing Aztecs who sacrificed humans. These are Native American reservations now. Hitler said that the United States was strong because it genocided natives. History furnishes us with innumerable instances that prove this law. It shows with a startling clarity that whenever Aryans have mingled their blood with that of an inferior race, the result hath been the downfall of the people who were the standard bearers of a higher culture. In North America, where the population is prevalently Teutonic, and where those elements intermingle with the inferior race only to a very small degree, we have a quality of mankind and civilization which are different from those of Central and South America. In these latter countries, the immigrants, who mainly belonged to the Latin races, mated with the Aborigines, sometimes to a very large extent indeed. In this case, we have a clear and decisive example of the effect produced by the mixture of races. But in North America, US and Canada, the Teutonic element, Mexico is in North America, but anyway, which has kept its racial stock pure and did not mix it with any other racial stock, has come to dominate America, and will remain master of it as long as that element does not fall a victim to the habit of adulterating its blood.